Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to Special Report for Tuesday, August the 11th, brought to you by KC Securities. We have a bunch of different social media accounts, but we are actually live on Facebook now, as well as on your Roku and Amazon Fire and other streaming devices. However, if you go on Facebook Live, you can actually share the stream and other people can see the show. So if you are on Facebook, or if you would like, go to Facebook, you can actually click share and it'll share it to all your friends on Facebook. And then also you can interact with us live on the air with any birthday suggestions or anniversaries, or you just want us to say good morning to you on the air, just pop it in the actual comments there and we will be able to interact with you.
And make sure you like the page.
Yes, and like our Sioux Online page as well. I'm Chris Oldcorn and I'm here with Daniel
LaPrade.
There we go.
Weather Daniel. And,
yes.
How are you, Chris? How was last night?
I'm good. Yesterday was an interesting afternoon. My car got washed very quickly, and then it just stopped raining. I couldn't believe how fast it was. It was
I was happy to be a little bit more on the ball with this time. We didn't get that mega storm. It kind of went north of us. I was talking with Craig about it before we went to air, and but at least we, those thunderstorms that I did, call for. Report on.
They kind of happened.
We did get some. We did get some rain, but it was quick, right? And then the humidity cleared out overnight, so it cooled down nice, actually.
Yeah, it was great last night, actually, compared to the couple nights previous to that, where we were.
Oh yeah.
Even during the day, what was it? We were at 39 with Humidex. I think,
well, that's I know you like it. Right?
I loved it. Actually, yesterday I went outside after the rain because it was more humid, just to stand outside and be like, oh man, this is actually warm. Okay. My show's been on the last couple of days. There's been a few people away, so we haven't had the ability to do it.
Right.
I'm going to be back tonight, 7 p.m. with Chris Oldcorn's show. You can also watch it before the special report in the morning. It's repeated 4 times from 7 a.m. all the way through till 8 when Daniel and I come on the air. Special report is also on at 1 o'clock today. Doug Ford's making an announcement. Now, this announcement's in Toronto. However, it's not at Queen's Park. Dr. Marilee Fullerton, she's the Minister of Long-Term Care. We've seen her in Mississauga and then out in Ajax the other day. The Mayor of Toronto, John Tory, is going to be there, and so is Barbara Collins. She's the President and CEO of Humber River Hospital. My guess is this is going to be probably similar to the announcement we just saw in Ajax, where they were putting a long-term care home actually connected to the hospital there.
Right.
If I was to hazard a guess, and I think this is probably a pretty good guess, they're going to build a long-term care home connected to the Humber River Hospital.
Yeah.
I feel fairly confident in that guess. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow at 1 o'clock.
Well,
however,
let's see.
I think I got about a 95% chance of being accurate on this one.
And you can usually predict which ministers are going to be there, and
Well, it's going to be something
where it is.
Yeah. Like with the fact that they're going on location and a mayor is going to be there.
Yes,
it's
plus
the exact same scenario we saw in both Mississauga and Ajax.
Yeah.
Humber River. Very big hospital system. As a matter of fact, Humber River was the first digital hospital in Canada. That's where they experimented with all the patient records being electronic and so on.
Right.
So Humber River has been at the forefront of medical care, particularly in Ontario.
That's good.
Testing all these sort of new different systems we have. With,
being like the first to do a lot
digitized.
of that.
It was the first hospital that was completely digital. In other words, you didn't have a folder that went with you from like one department to another.
Which makes more sense, right?
Yeah, everything was done on iPads.
Yeah.
And
so somebody can just type in your name or your file and then it all
everything
comes
pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on there because of where Humber, that hospital was in the first place and being digital and so on. It'd be interesting to see, are they experimenting anything here in long-term care maybe? That could be part of this announcement as well.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm not as confident on the experimental part there as I am in saying that's going to be a long-term care home connected to the hospital, but they might be experimenting here in some way, shape, or form too, with something new, which will be interesting to see. Now, speaking of something new, Soo Transit. It's been, when the pandemic happened, basically April 1st, Soo Transit went to a once an hour
back to the hour service.
Hour service.
Yeah.
And depending on the size of the bus, was limiting somewhere between 10 to 12 people per bus. They still have that social distancing on the buses.
Yeah.
But ridership is up. It's up substantially. It's about 2,000 people a month. Okay. At the peak, when it was a half-hour service, you were seeing between 6,000 and 7,000 people using it, and per day, like in terms of total rides.
Right.
And now they're hinting at least at council last night, which I watched, was a return to the half-hour service. They gave no specifics and no timeline other than they want to do it fairly soon because of where the ridership level is.
Now that it's bumping back up and it's going to be feasible, right?
You've got buses still doing some social distancing.
Yeah.
Plus, you're only doing it once an hour. That really cuts down on your ridership.
Yeah.
Even if you added in the half-hour service, you could easily get more people moving around the city.
And people are working and back to work now, so the ridership is up. They need to be able to get to work, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people who use the bus system can't afford a car. And if they don't have the bus to get to work, how are they supposed to get to work? Like, what if they live out in the East End and they work up at Walmart?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Do a 2-hour walk every day each direction? So, also, our news director, Craig, had heart surgery, and it went well. And everything, actually, this time was perfect. You can see his face on the screen there. Craig is the news director, as well as a part owner of Soo Line on TV.
And, of course, the weather guy. He's the one who's guiding me. People may know Craig from CTV years ago. MCTV, actually, when it was that we're going way back with Luann as well. Craig was the weather guy there, and so it's nice to have him back today.
Yes, and the surgery was successful. This was the 4th time he had the surgery. The first 3 times were not successful. This time it was. When I talked to him this morning, he said on Saturday he felt like a teenager. Now he says he's feeling about my age in his 40s. So he's got another, I don't know, we'll say around another 2 decades till he finally feels his age again.
Yeah.
But he said the surgery went fantastic. He feels great, and so we're so glad that actually was successful this time.
Very good news.
Yes. And speaking of people getting to work and unemployment, we're just talking about people getting to work using the transit system. How many people do you think applied for and got CERB, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit?
Oh, in the millions, right?
Yeah, 8.5 million Canadians were on the CERB benefit at one point or another.
Okay.
But we lost 3 million jobs, and the good news is we have gained back now 1.6 million of the 3 million jobs we lost.
So we're halfway.
The federal government came out yesterday with some changes to a little bit how they calculated unemployment. However, you still get your normal unemployment. It was just basically an announcement saying we had to calculate it differently because the unemployment rate went so high.
Right.
And back in May it was at 13.7%, and then in June it dropped to 12.3%, and then in July, we just got the numbers the other day, it's now dropped down to 10.9%. So we are trending in the right direction.
Yes.
More than half of Canadians are back to work who lost their jobs because of COVID-19. The ones who are on CERB, when CERB runs out, you'll be moved back onto unemployment. And one of the things that the Trudeau government did when they did the CERB was when you're on CERB, it didn't count towards your unemployment weeks.
Okay.
So if you were on CERB this whole time and you were on unemployment before that, you will go back onto unemployment, and you will not have lost the time period that you were on CERB on your unemployment.
And it's good. We got to transition people off of CERB, right?
That was meant get them onto the wage subsidy, get them back into the system looking for a job.
Right.
And things are looking up. I mean, we added 400,000 last month and 419,000, and they were only expecting the economists were only expecting about 280,000, I believe it was. So we even every single month we've blown it out of the water on how many people going back to work compared to what the economists in Toronto are saying. So we are headed in the right direction. CERB definitely helped us.
This is good.
Yeah. Okay.
So we got something
that's
police news.
A little different.
So we had a man charged with a break-and-enter. So on August 8th, officers of patrol services arrested 24-year-old Justin LePage for break-and-enter. On August 3rd, 2020, it's alleged the accused entered the front porch area of a residence in the 100 block of Bulmer Boulevard and stole a wallet. He was located on August 8th, 2020 and arrested. He is charged with break and enter and breach of probation and will be scheduled to appear in court October 19th, 2020. Don't break in to steal a wallet. Don't break in, period. If you need security, call KC Security. And so I had to, And so we also
great story tie into our advertising.
Yes.
If someone stole your wallet, you should get security service for your place.
Just extra added peace of mind is all I'm saying, right? Yes. Public complaint also resulted in an impaired charge. This would be the Superior East Detachment of the OPP. They responded to a call regarding a possible impaired driver on Highway 17 near White River. Now, this is the second time. Remember, we just talked yesterday about one that was he ended up not being impaired. Well, this vehicle was located and the driver was was impaired by alcohol. Further investigation into the driver led to the discovery of multiple Criminal Code and Highway Traffic Act driver's license suspensions. So as a result of the investigation, 53-year-old Brent Sand from Thunder Bay was arrested and charged while operation impaired, operation while prohibited, and driving while under suspension. And he was issued a 90-day administrative driver's license suspension and vehicle impounded for 45 days. So good work to the OPP. Like,
yes.
You know, they're doing a great job up there on the North Highway, and you know, nabbing these impaireds, and even the ones that aren't impaired, they were still breaking the law because they were suspended.
Yeah,
so,
and driving like they were impaired. Which,
yeah. So
the guy yesterday was driving like he was impaired. Got pulled over. Turns out he wasn't impaired, but he did have an impaired driving charge and wasn't allowed to be driving.
Yes. So
apparently he's just a bad driver in general, regardless of alcohol content in his bloodstream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get into the weather tease here, but before I do, a quick mention of weather history for today. For 1944, the temperature in Burlington, Vermont soared to an all-time record high of 101 degrees. That's Fahrenheit.
I hope so. Yeah. That's Celsius. So they're in trouble.
The dog days officially come to an end on this date, having begun in the 3rd day of July. Superstition has it that dogs tend to become mad during this time of year. Of course, we all know dog days of summer. Mm-hmm. So that's your little weather tidbit. You're going to see the live view of our wirelesscom.ca camera, which is looking at the Delta, the pavilion there, the bridge in the background. It is sunny. We're not having any fog, any weird stuff going on. It's nice and easy this morning. So yes, that camera is sponsored by wirelesscom.ca. Coming up, I will have your 3-day forecast, your regional temperatures, and all that fun stuff when we come back from this break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
It's easier to say nothing than blend in. But I need to speak up for what I know is right. I have a voice. I can lead the way. I will be a light in my community.
Hey Mel, did you know that Algoma University has campuses in Brampton and Timmins?
Really? Did you know that if you're at Algoma University, you're only 14 minutes and 16 seconds away from Maitland Ford Lincoln?
Oh wow, closer than you think.
welcome back to Special Report for Tuesday, August the 11th. Thank you very much to KC Securities for your sponsorship. I'm Chris Oltgorn, and we'll go over to Weather Daniel in just 1 second. But we got our Facebook shout-outs this morning, so I'd like to say hi to Margaret and Nicole. Thank you very much for watching and interacting with us on our Facebook Live. If you want to interact with us when we're live on the air, you can. Just go to our Facebook page of Soo Online, click on the actual video that you'll see in the news feed, and you'll be taken to the Facebook Live feed of the show, and there's a comment section where you can say good morning, tell us about a birthday or anniversary you want us to shout out, or any other event. And now I'm going to go over to Weather Daniel. What's going on?
Thanks very much, Chris. Yes, please make sure you interact with us. We love when you comment and share the show. Also a reminder, go to SooOnline.com. You can, all the stories that we present to you and the weather forecast and the weather minute is all there up at SooOnline.com, so you can always view it on demand. And you can go to the Stay Connected bar on the right side, and you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all that fun stuff. So make sure you check out SooOnline.com. Okay, so we'll get into the radar shot here behind me. Here's what's left of the low pressure that we had. Yesterday evening, we had that storm system roll through. We didn't really get it that bad here in Sault Ste. Marie, but kind of up north did. You know, Gooley, Searchmont area. But as you can see, this is passing through. Sudbury's getting some rain right now, but we are going to see the high pressure. We're going to have high pressure for the next 3-4 days, maybe 5 days before we see a little bit of a shower chance on Sunday. So not too much to worry about on the radar there right now. Like I said, Sudbury, you're going to see some rain for a little bit as that moves through, and things will clear out. So I will get into your expected highs now for the day. 29 in Thunder Bay is your expected high. Wawa is usually the cool spot, and once again they are today, 21 degrees. 27 in Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, and Elliott Lake, and expected in Sudbury a high of 28 degrees today. Overnight, 17 in Thunder Bay, 14 in Wawa, 15s in Timmins and Sault Ste. Marie, and then 18s in Elliott Lake and Sudbury. So it'll be a pretty comfortable night as well. So currently it is sunny outside, as you saw on our wirelesscom.ca camera earlier. 18 degrees is your temperature currently. We will get up to a high of 27 degrees today with a humidex of 30 degrees. So not like it was the last couple of days, but a pretty comfortable day. Winds 15 kilometers to the west, so not much of a factor there. And your low overnight will be 15 degrees and clear. So it will be a nice night. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, again, this is pretty easy like yesterday. Sun. There's not a whole lot. Maybe a cloud might pass through here or there, but it's going to be sunny for those days. So 27 on Wednesday, 17 is your low, as well as Thursday, 27 and 18 is your low. Friday, you're looking at a high of 28 and a low of 18. We're going to go to, we're going to go to on the weekend, we're going to kind of get into some cloud cover. Sunday, we might see a shower, but I'll have all that with your 7-day as well as the Weather Watcher coming up later on in the show. I'm going to send it back over to Chris.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Actually, last night at City Council, they actually talked about the outdoor patios because the restaurants and bars were able to make outside patios and convert part of their parking space into that. And we found out that normally there's only 4 patios open in the downtown area, and this summer there's 14. And some of the business owners are looking in the fall to adding in space heaters of some kind and also shielding from the elements. They can continue to have that outdoor space and make it comfortable for people to still want to come out there in the fall as we head towards winter. We got to hit a commercial break, but we'll be back in 2 minutes. And welcome back to Special Report for Tuesday, August the 11th. I'm Chris Olgarn here with Daniel Laprade, and we've got some updated numbers for you in the province of Ontario with regards to COVID-19. We did see 115 new cases. That is up from 7 days in a row where we were below 100. Nothing to really worry about there too much. We fully expected this number to fluctuate anyways.
Absolutely.
18 of the 34 public health units reported absolutely no cases, including Algoma, and 28 of the 34 had 5 cases or less. However, yesterday was a good day for Ontario, not the greatest day for the planet. We now have over 20 million cases of COVID-19 across the planet that we know of.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what we know of from 188 countries that are reporting data. Now, we went from 10 million to 20 million in only 6 weeks.
Right.
It took 39 days actually to go from 5 to 10 million. So the pace of new cases is picking up, globally speaking. And the 20 million is likely to be a vast, vast underestimate of how many people actually have COVID-19. There's been a lot of numbers floating around that, upwards of 80% of people that even catch COVID-19 are asymptomatic, or they get it just a mild little bit of a cold, never even get tested, never even know they have it.
So it could be 10 times that number.
It could easily be that, yeah.
Right? So
and some countries don't test enough. Other countries have enough testing. I mean, even in the U.S., where 5 million of the 20 million cases are in America, and states have not been testing sufficiently, people line up 12 hours for testing, and then they run out of tests, and then they have to come back and line up again the next day. So who knows what the actual number is? I mean, plenty of states in the U.S. have not been testing a lot. There's been so much confusion from the federal government and how they're working together with the governors in each state on how they're doing testing. And there is even the protocols of testing and how to report in the states isn't even the same.
They're all different.
They are. We talked about Florida a while ago. Orlando was putting in their numbers as every positive case, and they never included the negative numbers, so it inflated the numbers in Florida.
It messed everything up, and it was like a
and then all of a sudden they went from like a 22 or 19% positivity rate down to like 10, because they're like, oh, we got to include the negative tests. I thought you only told us to send the positive number. So even there's confusion even at the state level. That's just one example. There's plenty of those examples across numerous states.
Many countries for that matter, right?
Countries, yeah. I mean, in Canada, we're kind of lucky because the healthcare system is controlled by the government. So it's not. It's much easier to control something if you control the whole system.
That's right.
Through to different levels of government. But when you've got private companies doing it, and private hospitals, and public-private partnerships and all that, you can get very, very murky, especially when you're dealing with a country the size of America with over 330 million people.
Yeah.
But speaking of America, there's a lot of American teams.
You don't want to be first with COVID. You don't want to. U.S. does not.
That's not where you want to be first. However, the Rangers want to be first.
If you are the New York Rangers, they're the first team to see their NHL restart bubble burst. They got a pretty nice consolation prize though on Monday. So what this means is they won the number 1 pick for the draft lottery. Doesn't mean they're number 1 team. So don't let me confuse you with that. But they got, because they lost, right?
Yeah, because they did so poorly, they actually get the first prize for picking.
So they were swept by the Carolina Hurricanes 3 straight in the best of 5, and they were one of the 8 clubs eliminated from the 24-team restart, which included in the second phase of the lottery. So that's what's going on with the New York Rangers. But we will be back after this commercial break with more. I'll have the 7-day forecast as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
A message from the Government of Canada.
And welcome back to Special Report for Tuesday, August 11th. Hope you're having a great morning. So we're going to get into the weather. We'll get into the 7-day momentarily. Wanted to bring up some video here, kind of change it up for the weather watcher. Normally we have a photo or something sent in, but last week there was a tornado that touched down in Virden, Manitoba area. I don't know if you may be familiar if you've driven through there. I have before on my trips across Canada. But this tornado, you're going to see some footage here. Pretty powerful. Like, it touched down, and unfortunately 2 people were killed. A teenage couple. Looks like it launched their vehicle and them out of the vehicle. They were found later on. So unfortunately 2 people did lose their lives, and there was an injury. And there was also some farms destroyed before it dissipated and moved on. But that's a pretty powerful tornado to touch down.
Yeah, that's the one that picked up their car and threw it almost a kilometer.
Yes.
Like, imagine a tornado picking up a car
and they probably didn't even see it coming, because sometimes
and chucking it a kilometer away.
Like that's insane. And we don't, we see tornadoes in Canada, right? It's not a strange phenomenon, but a lot of the times they're not super powerful. But this one didn't have a long path, but it just so happened, the timing where they were, right? So, all right. So make sure you send in your photos, videos to ontvweather@gmail.com for Weather Watcher. All right. So 7-day forecast. So you're going to see a lot of sun. It's going to be very easy to summarize this. Sun for the next 3 days, and then we're going to see a few clouds on the weekend. Sunday, maybe a chance of a shower, and then on Monday, Tuesday, we'll bump back down to seasonal. So you're going to see lows overnight between 16 to 18 degrees overnight, and the high 20s for the next few days. So it's going to be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, that's nice. Especially Saturday. It's the same forecast you gave last week.
I'm going to hope so.
When I went to the beach and drove like an hour to get there up to Pancake Bay and back, paid $15.50, Daniel, to sit on a freezing cold beach.
Maybe
and
you'll have
you're giving
better
me the exact same, partly cloudy, but warm.
Go on the Sunday then, when it's supposed to rain.
Yeah, I'll go on Sunday when it's supposed to rain, because it's supposed to rain on Sunday. It didn't. So, yeah. Okay, so we'll be back later on today. But before we go, I just want to bring up one thing. We've been showing the explosion that happened in Lebanon. Originally, the Canadian government donated $5 million, which is going to various humanitarian charities. First one they sent money to was the Red Cross to help immediately. The federal government has now put in another $25 million of foreign aid. And then there's $2 million matched from donations being put in there. So Canada's aid now is up to $30 million to help the people in Lebanon right now. But all the money is going to charities. It's not going to the Lebanese government, because we know the Prime Minister is in the process of stepping down from corruption. And part of the cabinet is. So the money that we're sending is going to the charities to help the people on the ground, not going to the government. I'll be back at 1 o'clock with Doug Ford. We'll have the news all day long, and I'll see you at 7 p.m. tonight, Chris Oldcorn Show. Have a great morning.
See you then.